Okay, the next muscle that we'll look at that's going to complete our muscles on the upper trunk and shoulder girdle is a latissimus dorsi, which is a large triangular muscle sort of running. This is the muscle here, it's running across and then all the way down to the pelvis, the sacrum on the pelvis, and up. So it's a large tapering muscle. Most of the muscle, though, is in this in these areas that I've put in these orange stripes. So, like, here's where here's what the actual muscle is. This is fascia down here, so it's the muscle attaches to it, and this covers the muscles that we talked about down here, the extensor muscles. But the actual muscle body is actually this part of that big triangular shape that we talked about, or that I just mentioned. Okay, so so we think about where it is on the skeleton. So it starts here, just below the scapula, and it's running all the way down the spine to the sacrum, and it's also attaching to the last three ribs over here, and it also attaches to this final third on the top of the ilium here. Okay, so it's running again it's running from rib cage to pelvis. That's the big joint that it's covering. It's also running, so that's the origin, and then it's inserting into the humerus. So it comes up and inserts into the forward part of the humerus. So it's coming up under where the teres major is going, except it's inserting a little bit higher. So it kind of cups the teres major as it comes around. And we can see here from the side. So it's coming up. Here's a teres, and it's coming up under and attaching under on the humerus, but it's attaching a little bit higher than the teres major. So again, it's cupping it, and so those two muscles are primarily what's giving you the back of your armpit. Those two full muscles, teres major and the latissimus. Okay. So from the front, we just see a little bit, but when you draw it here, make sure that you preserve the serratus muscles, right? So we've got now all of our muscles, the deltoid, pectoralis, a little bit of latissimus, serratus, got external oblique along here, and rectus abdominis in the trunk proper. Okay. In terms of how we see it on the surface, so the part of the muscle that is most visible to us is this part. This is sort of the thickest part in here. And then as it trails down, it gets thinner, and other forms sort of take over, whether it's the rib cage or those lower parts of the extensor muscles in the back, the sacrospinalis muscles. So those parts here, and then those two sort of rope or cord-like muscles that come down. So all of this is just kind of covering those forms, but they're really, even though it's on top of those forms underneath are the ones that we really see. So this, again, this is sort of the thickest part. Sometimes we'll see along here, this is maybe, if we had to kind of rate like how visible different parts of the muscle are, this would be number 1 in this area, number 2 along here, and then number 3 sort of in this area. So, but it's principally on the side view here where again, it's helping to form the back of your armpit that muscle is most visible. And the action is pulling the arm down and back, sort of like in a swimming motion, or if your hand is fixed, that movement would kind of pull you upwards, like a climbing motion. Okay, and that's the latissimus dorsi.